Hello, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to listen to this webinar here this morning. This is Scott Gilpin and Scott Brewer with Producers XL, and we wanted to show you just a couple quick things for quoting life insurance on your clients, and specifically those that might have some health issues. So we'll jump right into this. The first thing I want to show you is our website when you're just going to run a term quote. When you go to producersxl.com and you log in, you'll see this screen. The very first thing you want to do is go to the Quotes tab and click on the Term UL engine. This is the quickest, easiest way to run term quotes on our website. Well, this is going to work. There we go. So when you run a term quote, the very first thing I will tell you, and we're just going to throw in a mock quote here, always try to use the date of birth because the system will calculate age nearest and age actual, so you don't have to worry about that. So we'll choose one on purpose here with a future birth date, so you can see that it makes this person age 46 actual age and age 47 age nearest for those carriers that use age nearest. This is a male. We'll just leave it Kansas. We're going to just run an easy term quote, 20-year term for $500,000. And what I wanted to show you on this, because I think everyone probably knows how easy it is to run just a simple term quote, but one feature, and again, keeping with the premise that we're talking about people that might have some additional health history that you're just not sure about, one thing that our website does offer is this health profile. And so instead of just entering the health class here, where you can just pick and choose which health class you want to quote, you can enter this health profile. So for this quick example, I'm just going to pick on one thing, and that's build. So let's just pretend this guy's maybe just a little bit heavier. You're concerned about his build, what rate class that might qualify for. So we're going to just put in, we'll make this guy 5'10", 270 pounds, because again, when he tells you that he's 270 pounds, you immediately know in your head that that's not a preferred risk, but you're not sure if that's going to be a table rate or not. So again, you can put that right in here, and that's all we're going to do on this particular one. We're just going to say get quotes, and you can see at that 5'10", 270 pounds, he's not going to be preferred. And so you can see here that it automatically shoves him into the standard non-tobacco class with pretty much every carrier. So build is, I mentioned build because it's just so prevalent in our world of life insurance underwriting. So I wanted to show you that. Now, to go back to search, I want to put in a little bit more detail on this to show you that this is a little bit more robust than just build. So we're gonna change this up, and we're going to specifically make this guy 185 pounds because we know that that's a very good height and weight, and that's probably in the preferred categories. But we're going to add some additional details here. So we're going to make him 5'10", 185 pounds. We're going to say no to any tobacco, but we're going to add some health details here. Because when you were talking to him, maybe he mentioned some negative family history. And we all know that family history can play a part of life insurance underwriting and the rate class that the proposed insured can qualify for. So we're going to add these health details, and you can see here that we've already got it checked for these conditions here, and we're going to go ahead and check the family history box. We're not going to worry about the driving violations for this hypothetical. We're just going to click this, and we're going to hit continue. And you can see that it's got his build in there of what we had already put. We're going to hit next, and we're going to just say no to the tobacco product. Next. And so again, you don't have to put in this information if you don't know it. You can just simply go over here to the family history because that's the information that you really want to figure out. So we're just going to go straight to the father, and we're going to say, did your client father have a diagnosis of these conditions? And we're going to say yes. We're going to select a condition of heart disease. We're going to just pick on heart disease because that's pretty not only prevalent but common. We're going to say heart disease, and he was diagnosed, let's just say, at age 52. Did your client die due to any of these health conditions? We're going to say yes and say from that heart disease that he died at age 58. We're going to hit next, and we're going to say mom also has the same type of history. She's got heart disease. She was diagnosed at 58. No, we're going to say 54. And she also passed due to that same condition. And we're going to say she died at age 59. And we're going to hit next. And again, you don't have to put in this information if you don't know it, but we can just simply say no for the brother and sister. And we're going to hit get quotes. So this will, now these quotes take into account, of course, the family history and the build and everything that we entered. So on those simple cases where you know where there's not a lot of personal history for the proposed insured, but there's some family history or some moving violations, DUI, traffic tickets, build, blood pressure, cholesterol, those kinds of things, the website you can enter that information into the health profile and it can spit out the appropriate quotes for those conditions or those impairments. And that can be very helpful when you're out on your own or we're not available and your client's sitting at your desk. You can quickly put that health profile information in and get accurate quotes on the back end for these term quotes. But moving on, the real reason for the meeting today was to show you the additional steps that we take here at Producers XL to get you as accurate as we can on those I got a guy situations, those health histories of your proposed insured that are a little bit more involved than just blood pressure, build, tobacco use, those kinds of just run down the underwriting guide things. So if your client has cancer history, heart disease, diabetes, Crohn's disease, any of these other medical conditions that are a little bit more complicated, there's some steps and some things that we can do here at Producers XL to help get you a more accurate rate class to quote that client and obviously to find out if they're even insurable. So to take it a step further, what I wanted to show you is we have a website that we use, and I'll get into that. Here it is. It's called Quote Shop. And it's a website, but it's basically us sending out I got a guy type summaries to a bunch of different carriers and getting their responses back. So when you talk to us on the phone, we can take this information in two different ways. Typically, a verbal summary from you after your conversation with the client is typically what we work with. Obviously, the more information you can get us, the better. Dates of diagnoses and if it's cancer, the stage and grade, and all those kind of details. If you can gather that information from your client and give it to us, we can then go to this website and input this information and reach out to multiple carriers to get responses from them on what they might be able to do with their client. The other thing that we do is if we have actual medical records, whether we work the case and we got a less than favorable offer and we already have the medical records, or if the client can provide their medical records on the front end, we have an off-site medical underwriting consultant that we employ, and she has years of experience being a lead underwriter at a major insurance carrier, so she's got all of that medical, not only training, but underwriting background, and what she does for us is we send her medical record, the actual medical records of the client, and she summarizes that. She goes through those medical records and pulls out all of the pertinent information that's important to underwriters, and she summarizes it for us. So a lot of times I will use her medical summary to input into this Quote Shop, this platform that I'm talking about right now. So either way, we're putting this information into this program and we're sending it out to the carriers and we're getting the responses back. So I just want to show you really quick kind of how this works. If I was going to do a new case, I would just click New Case, and we're going to, for the case identifier, and this is on our end, so this is what I do. So I'm going to put something anonymous in here because I don't ever put the client's full name or any identifying markers of your client. So I'll just say that this is for me. And we're going to put in here that his age is 47 years old. And some of these boxes I don't really have to put the information pretty much goes down here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put he's a male, he's a non-tobacco user, and I already, just for an effort to save time, I already put some information and I'll drag it over. So we're going to this is our guy, and like I said, I already put the information out there. So what I'm going to tell the carriers is he's a 46-year-old male, non-smoker, 5'10", 260. So I can go ahead and put that in here. It's a little redundant, but I can put that in there. So 5'10", 260 pounds. He was diagnosed with diabetes at age 42. He takes metformin daily. His average A1C is 7.5. I also put diagnosed with depression, 45, Prozac, DUI. Basically what I'm showing you here is this is the kind of information if you and I talked on the phone and this is the medical or the verbal summary that you got from the client, this is what I'm putting in, or whether or not this is Heather's, our underwriting consultant, whether it's her medical summary or a verbal summary that I get from you, this is what I put in this quote shop. I go over here and I usually just say something like, please advise what rate class we can quote. And then what I do is I hit the next button, and then I can pick and choose the carriers that I send this to. So I just literally pick the carriers over here that I want to use, and then I go down here and hit submit. And what happens is this gets sent automatically to the carriers via an email, and it gives them all this history and all this information that I've given them, and then they respond back to me. Usually takes 2 to 3 days tops to get everybody responding. Some carriers will respond within minutes. Some will take a day or two. But I want to show you real quick what their summary kind of looks like. So I'm going to go back to a case that I've previously worked. So on this particular case, I'm going to just open it up. This is a case that I've already worked. So this is what it looks back when I get what it looks like when I get responses. You can see here, we don't have to go through this, but this woman has breast cancer, and here's all the information that the agent gave me on the case. And down here are all the responses. So you can see all the carriers that I reached out to and their responses. You can click, this is a Cincinnati Life, and you can click on their view offer, and it just says standard non-smoker. Another carrier, let's see what Protective said. Protective said standard non-smoker as well. Now, all the if I wanted to look at all of the responses just to get you an idea, you can see that some carriers, and again, it depends on the carrier and how willing that person that looked at it is willing to give information, but you can see some of them give a lot of information, standard non-tobacco for breast cancer, subject to, et cetera, et cetera. And again, some of these carriers have a little bit more to say about the case, but the cool thing about this is not only am I getting responses direct from the carriers that I can relay to you, but it also houses all the information for us, so we can review it at a future date, and we can go back and look at it, and I don't have to worry about getting, 17 emails, and it's all housed right here on this site. So again, when you call us or email us for a quote, and it's a I got a guy scenario where we have medical history, these are the things that we can do. Obviously, if it's pretty straightforward and simple, and it's dealing with blood pressure, build, cholesterol, family history, you can certainly use that health analyzer that I showed you on our website, and you can run those yourself and feel comfortable that you're getting accurate quotes. But when it's a little bit more involved, these are the kinds of things that we can do to get responses from the carriers to get you the best accurate quote we can on the front end. Now, of course, everything that we do on the front end of quoting is tentative, subject to formal underwriting. But again, this email that we're looking at on the screen right now, this information, I guarantee is a lot more accurate than if we wouldn't have asked the carriers. And there's all kinds of things we can put in. It doesn't have to be just health. It could be alcohol, DUIs, criminal history, et cetera. So any of that information, I can just reach out to the carriers. But that's just one of the value adds that we offer here in regards to quoting. Field underwriting, obviously, if you've ever talked to me personally, you know how important I think field underwriting is. It's vitally important to quote these clients correctly on the front end as much as we possibly can. So these are the things that we have access to and that we do on the back end to help you quote your clients. So that's what I wanted to show you today. And again, I really appreciate you. We appreciate you listening. And if you have any questions, I'll throw our information on the screen for you really quick. So that's my contact information and Scott Brewer's contact information. If you have any questions or want any quotes, please give us a call. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.